Now, WJZ's Purple Connection, brought to you by LifeBridge Health.
This is Purple Connection. I'm Alex Glaze. The Ravens are back from the bye week. Well, most of the Ravens are back from the bye. A big week ahead as the Ravens look to bounce back from a 1-5 start to the season. And joining me tonight, we have Grace Grill and Kyle Goon of the Baltimore Banner. Guys, after the Rams game, John Harbaugh said that he was expecting Lamar Jackson to return after the bye. Today, the first day back for the team. No Lamar. But before we get to that, here's John Harbaugh on how the bye week came at the perfect time for his team.
It was needed. It was an opportunity for us and to do a couple things. I mean, one thing was to help us get healthy for sure. I mean, I don't think we could have been more injured at that point in time for the last couple of weeks. So that's a big part of it. And then for us to take a look at everything we're doing, I think we're doing a lot of great things. You got to take it in understanding, who's out there and who's not playing. So you don't want to overreact. You just want to react. You want to react. You want to understand where you're going, reset, and reattack.
All right, so we have a rule tonight, guys. You heard it from John Harbaugh. No overreaction tonight, right? So we're not going to overreact to anything. But I do want to start with Lamar. Grace, today was, I guess we'll call it a bonus practice, right? The Ravens usually don't go on Monday, but no Lamar. A little surprising, right? How concerned are you that Lamar wasn't out there today?
You said no overreaction? Right?
No overreaction. Well, maybe a little bit.
Well, I'm going to start with where you started with this being a bonus practice, right? So maybe they're just giving him that extra day of rest since they normally don't go. That's my positive twist on it. So hopefully we see him out there tomorrow. But if this was just a regular practice and not seeing him out there to start the week with the team, I would be a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. If this was Wednesday, I think that I'd feel a little bit differently than I do right now. Kyle, are you hitting the panic button just yet on Lamar?
Yeah, of course I am. I mean, John Harbaugh and Todd Monken have all but promised that Lamar was going to be back this week against the Bears. They need him back. This offense has ground to a halt. They didn't even score a touchdown last week. They need him. And I think the fact that they're practicing on Monday is a reflection of the 1-5 record. I think if they were showing that they were ready to go this week, Lamar would be out there. So I'm definitely worried about his health, and I'm definitely worried about the Ravens' chances this week against Chicago.
I think that we've also heard John say throughout this season that Lamar's going to be at practice if he wants to practice. So maybe Lamar just didn't feel like this extra day was necessary. I mean, we know, Kyle. There have been times where Lamar has gone a week without practicing and then played in a game. Granted, that's usually on like a short week, but I don't think I'm quite there yet hitting the panic button. But if there is some cause for concern, it's because we've seen what the alternative is, right? We've seen what this offense looks like with Cooper Rush. We've seen what this offense looks like with Tyler Huntley. With Lamar Jackson out there, I mean, it's almost a 25-point difference for this offense. So it is a big deal that Lamar's not out there.
Yeah, and Kyle, I don't know how you felt about being out there today, but just watching the two backups go through their drills and stuff, it very much felt like this was a QB battle in week 8. Right? Like as if we were training camp again. I don't know how you felt about that.
I mean, the way I feel is not based off today. I just think going off the last game, I would rather have Tyler Huntley start than Cooper Rush. I don't think Cooper Rush has shown in any particular game or any particular training camp moment that I've seen that he is that guy, that he definitely deserves that backup job. I think last weekend against the Rams was more damning than helpful. So if it comes down to that, and I mean, I think we're all hoping that it doesn't, I think I would go with a different look and put Tyler Huntley out there instead of Cooper Rush.
Yeah, and I think that everyone's on the same page with not overreacting, right? Because John didn't get a question about who the backup quarterback is, because after the Rams game, he was asked, and he said he thinks he has 2 backups right now, and I don't know necessarily how that works. But if it's any indication, not to say that the Ravens or anybody tips their hand, Cooper Rush was taking snaps from Tyler Linderbaum. So that tells me right now maybe he's still the second quarterback on this roster. But I think I'm with you, Kyle. I think that I'd rather see Tyler Huntley go out there just from the standpoint of just they need a shot in the arm, right? And this Ravens offensive line has really struggled. And I think that Lamar masks a lot of the issues that they have. And Tyler Huntley's mobility allows him to mask in a similar way. He's not Lamar Jackson, but obviously the way he can escape and move a pocket around, I think that gives this offense a better opportunity.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with either of you. But my one concern with going that route maybe is the consistency, right? Like that's been one of the problems is that, okay, Lamar's been out, Roquan's been out. All these injuries have foiled with the consistency, and I think that's needed to play good, solid football. Where if you can stay consistent at that level, I think that maybe does help. I know you're coming back from a little bit of a break, but they have 2 full weeks of Cooper Rush getting more comfortable with it. So I mean, I don't know that changes things, but I do consider consistency in that aspect.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know we're trying not to overreact on a Monday, but my overreaction is this Bears game could be the season. I mean, if you're Eric DeCosta and you're trying to determine what to do with this team, what to do with all your pending free agents, what to do with your draft picks, if you don't win this Sunday against the Bears and you go 1-6, what incentive does your general manager have to help you out at all? And I've been on the record that I think they shouldn't do anything until we see what happens in these next 2 games. I don't know if that's what they'll do, but if they lose against Chicago on Sunday, I just think the season, you might as well wrap it up.
Every game from here on out really important for this Ravens team after that 1-5 start to the season. 11 games left in the regular season, 5 division games left for this team. Technically not out of the playoff picture just yet, but today we did hear from Zay Flowers, and he talked about the urgency that this team has as they enter the second half of the season.
It's possible. So we ain't doubting it. I know we can do it. I think we can do it. So that's what we're going to come out and do.
I know that winning the next game would go a long way in helping us. That's what I really understand. You know, that's what I think we all of our players, all of our coaches, you know, that's what you really need to understand. So, you know, we understand it's a challenge, but we also understand we're playing the game next Sunday and we have an opportunity, and we want to make the most of it.
All right, guys, I don't need to paint the picture any clearer, but we do have the AFC North standings right now, and as you can imagine, after a 1-5 start, not too pretty. But I can't tell you the last time I saw the Ravens sitting at the bottom of the standings. The Cleveland Browns ahead of the Ravens right now. The Ravens, the 13th seed in the AFC right now with a 43% chance to make the playoffs. Kyle, I'll start with you. Can this team do it?
Well, the last time, to answer your question, the last time was 2015 when the Ravens were at the bottom. And that was a rough season. That got off to a rough start. And they did turn it around, and they did have a more successful season than the start. I think they can, but, I mean, it starts with 2-0 this year. I mean, the division is so weak. And we saw on Thursday the Bengals kind of getting in a punch against the Steelers. Old Joe Flacco doing the Ravens a solid, keeping the Steelers in distance. But I think it's possible, but a lot of things about this team need to change this bye week.
I mean, Kyle, you hit it. I think that's been the saving grace, is that nobody has run away with the division. So that's allowed the Ravens to kind of only be 3 games back. Shout out Joe Flacco. You didn't have that one on your bingo card too, that they were actually like helping you out in division as well. But I think, yeah, I mean, like it's still a ton of work. I think what makes this game coming up interesting too, it's like, okay, you figure, oh, we're coming back from the bye, we're going to play the Bears. It's like, well, wait a minute, the Bears have won 4 straight now, and it's like, shoot, they've got some momentum going, and like there's something to say for teams that can pick up momentum. But at the same time, with this roster and who they have, it's like they should be able to win every single game on their schedule. And I do. I think this is going to be a really big tell game, even from a coaching for player and even with what DeCosta is going to do.
Absolutely, guys. And we're talking about Joe Flacco. It's crazy in 2025 doing the Ravens a solid. I'll tell you this. Everyone seems to be talking about the Ravens and the Steelers jockeying for the division. Watch out for the Bengals. I mean, Joe Flacco might have given him a little bit of lightning until Joe Burrow can come back. And then, I mean, this thing is wide open right now, so the Bengals are a dangerous team. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play What's the Word? Stay with us. More Purple Connection after this.
The Purple Connection, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. This is the Purple Connection, brought to you by LifeBridge Health.
And welcome back to Purple Connection. It's time for What's the Word? I'm going to throw out a phrase, and you guys Fill in the blank. Grace, I'll start with you. After the bye week, your confidence level in the Ravens is what?
I'm going to say suspicious.
Okay.
Right? Where I would say cautiously optimistic, but we get in trouble for using two words around here. So I would say suspicious just because I should feel confident with them getting healthier and with the talent that they have. But at the same time, they have not really proven anything or given you any motion to have confidence in this football team.
Kyle?
The word I'm very proud of Grace, first of all. I feel like she's really a Baltimore media member now that she's suspicious of the team. But my word was going to be middling. I mean, I still think the talent is there. I still think the schedule gives you an opening. I think if there's enough desperation, they can win some games and at least get to 500 and hopefully scrap down the stretch. But it's middling. It's not good.
I'm going to go waning. My confidence level is waning. I mean, I was looking at what to do in San Francisco this summer. I mean, you couldn't have told me that this team was not going to the Super Bowl. And right now, we're talking about not making the playoffs.
You borderline missed the O's.
I mean, listen, it was just when you don't think it could get much worse than the Orioles. I mean, this start to the season happened, and I mean, yeah, the schedule is what it is, and there's 5 division games. There's a lot of opportunity there for this team, but then what? Then you're going to have to face the big dogs again, and then what are we going to see? So my confidence level is waning. Okay, second one. Kyle, I'll start with you. Lamar Jackson's second half of the season will be what?
I think inspiring. I think this team needs a shot of life. I think Lamar Jackson will give it to them, assuming he's back on Sunday. He just makes things happen, and I've counted out Lamar Jackson before, much to my chagrin. He has a way of making these things lively, so I think he'll give the Ravens a shot and make this offense go again. I mean, they were averaging a lot before he got injured.
I think my word would be hopeful, just because we ran through it in the first segment that we did of just like what he brings to this team, where it's like, okay, if we can get him back, then I think that would restore a little bit more of the hope that these fans wish that they had more of in their football team right now.
I'm going to say MVP-like. Can I do that? Can I throw a hyphen in there, MVP-like? We look at last year, right? I keep bringing this up. Josh Allen gets the MVP. I don't think there are many people in this town that think that he deserved that MVP, but he got it. And a lot of people that were arguing for Josh Allen were saying he did more with less. Well, we see what this Ravens offense looks like without Lamar Jackson. Now we have 11 games to see what it looks like with Lamar. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception so far this season. I think if they're going to turn things around, and there's a lot of opportunity there for Lamar to put up those gaudy numbers, I think we're going to see an MVP-like resurgence from Lamar.
Can I throw in a curveball real quick?
Yeah.
Are we having the right conversation about that with Lamar? Because you can argue, okay, he's done more with less, but then you're showing what he has. Is that just a result of everything revolving around Lamar and them not using all their talent to the best ability? Because there's a lot of other Pro Bowlers on that team.
I would say, okay, let me rephrase, because I think you're correct. Maybe not more with less. I think that how much this team needs Lamar.
But I think that might be the problem, right?
How much he means to this team. Well, I mean, he's two-time MVP, a future Hall of Famer. I mean, that's a gold jacket right there. Not too many of those guys walking around, so I don't know.
All I'm saying is last year for a time, people were talking about Derrick Henry deserving to be the MVP candidate on this team. I think now we see how misguided that was, to Grace's point.
Absolutely. All right, last one, guys. And Kyle, I'll start with you. The rest of this Ravens season will be what?
I think it will be deflating. I think they're going to get in the mix. I think they'll be, in that 7-8 win range with 2 weeks to go. They'll have a shot. They'll be looking like they can win the division, and I just don't see it. That game against Green Bay is going to be tough. And then if the Steelers game at Pittsburgh in the last week of the season needs to be won, that's going to be tough. So I think the runway between now and the end of December is pretty good, but I think it's really, really hard at the end of the season, and you're not sure what the health is going to be like when it gets there.
I think my word would be it will be telling in multiple ways, because you're looking at it like, especially after, depending on how this weekend goes. Like, the Ravens have had, from the front office to the coaching staff to the players, they have been a well-oiled machine with how they go about the draft, with how they bring in players, with how they don't deal players or not, and how they save draft capital. This might be, because they haven't had one of these seasons in a while, this might be one of those reevaluating years depending on how the rest of the season goes. So I'm going to say telling.
I'm going to break the rules. I have 6 words.
You set the rules.
I'm breaking my own rules. A movie we have seen before. Listen, I would not be surprised if this team was able to string together a couple of wins. I would not be surprised if this came down to week 18 in Pittsburgh. I would not be surprised if this team won the division. But then what? We have seen this for the past couple of years. We've seen this. This is a rerun. So this is going to be.
I was going to say, Alex, you need an editor because the one word is rerun.
Rerun.
There you go. We condensed it.
This is why we have you here. This is why I need the print guys to do that. A rerun. Okay. Yeah, I just think that there's just not a lot that gives me optimism when it comes to this team getting over the hump, which is the whole point of this year, right? We thought this would be the year that this team could take that next step.
Maybe it is, because they've been knocking at the door. Maybe when all looks bad, it's like that's the year that they pull through and do it. Little positivity.
Maybe. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do a league checkup and check in with some of the big storylines from around the league. A great Sunday for football. Stay with us. More Purple Connection after this.
A Purple Connection, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. The League Checkup, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. Care bravely.
And welcome back to Purple Connection. All right, let's take a look at what happened around the league over the past week. A lot of great games, a lot of great storylines. It started on Thursday Night Football. Joe Flacco shredding the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. Then yesterday, Mike Vrabel goes back, beats his old team, Drake May, efficient, and the Patriots win over the Titans. Tua gets benched in Cleveland in that Dolphins loss, and the Broncos score 33 points in the fourth quarter to win that thriller against Jackson Dart and the Giants. Grace, what stood out to you?
There was so much drama, and you kind of you have to love it. I'll start with the Thursday night football game. Like, that was just like, if you are just a fan of football, and like, I don't know, there was just something about Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco as they were calling it the Icy Hot Bowl, but it was kind of a little bit of a nostalgia. You're like, man, it just kind of reminded you of a different era in the NFL, and you were seeing it back, and I just ended that game wanting more of that era of football. I just thought that was awesome. But Drake May and the Vrabel storyline, that was awesome.
Well, I'm going to go back to Flacco because I love that too. But that's because Jamar Chase is on my fantasy team. I'll tell you what, it's a PPR league. And I was Thursday night, the rare Thursday night, put your feet up. Almost 40 points.
It was great.
I love that. Great stuff. Kyle, what stood out to you from the football weekend?
Well, it was nice to see a team falter harder than the Ravens in the fourth quarter with the Giants. And I'm kind of wondering how the rest of their season goes now that letdown happened. We know those can have hangovers. And then also, Tua getting benched against the Browns. When was the last time you saw the Browns blowing anybody out? Some stuff is really bad in Miami. Obviously, Tua last week kind of called his teammates out, then immediately got clapped back for that. Hey, man, aren't you a leader on this team? So I kind of wonder what the future holds for Tua in Miami. It seems like everything's screwed up down there.
The future for Tua is in question. The future for Mike McDaniel is in question because, even just the way
I don't even think the future for Mike McDaniel's in question. I think it's over. I think it's just, when are you going to fire him? I don't know. End of the season? Sooner? I don't know. I think it's over down there.
I thought that, today, I don't want to, talk about anyone losing their job, but if there's a day to do it, today was after that showing. Even the cold shoulder he gave Quinn Ewers when he came off the field after he benched Tua. Did you see that? Just a weird energy down in Miami for sure. I'm not really sure what's going on there. But the other thing that stood out to me yesterday, we're talking about hamstring injuries. Jaden Daniels goes down dealing with that hamstring as well as the Cowboys. I don't know if this was what anyone expected from Jerry's team after the Micah trade, but the Cowboys look like they're legit.
Yeah, that offense is freaking bus. And I think CD Lamb got wide open I mean, they can break stuff open. They're the number one offense in the NFL. The question is if they can stop anybody. I mean, they only have 3 wins, even though they're the top offense in the NFL, and you feel like they should. And you wonder if they had a Micah Parsons on their team, might they have another win or two? So, but that's a question for wiser minds, I guess.
I will say this, like, for as much crap that Jerry Jones gets, and whether that's right or wrong, what I appreciate about him, especially in a season, is that he's not afraid to make a move like that. Like, I think everybody would have kind of, and me included, was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe he's not bringing him back. And me, like, Micah Parsons is from my hometown, so I just like him as a hometown boy. But, like, I don't know. There was something about, like, man, like, he had the gall to make a move like that because he thought it would benefit his team in a certain way. So I think that was maybe.
That is called pride. And Jerry Jones is a prideful dude, and he drew a line in the sand. Micah drew a line in the sand, and he made a decision. But no, awesome to see. And you know what I do like to? I'm very curious what the future in Dallas looks like, because maybe they take the Cincinnati approach, just pay both the receivers, because George Pickens, he's getting it done down there as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, game day advice, and we're going to wrap up the show. More Purple Connection after this.
The Purple Connection, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. And now, game day advice, brought to you by Rice Law. For the best advice, call Rice.
And welcome back to Purple Connection. Ravens off the bye week, getting ready to face the Chicago Bears on Sunday right here in Baltimore at 1 o'clock kickoff. So what are we looking for in tonight's game, this week's game, I should say? No Swifties. DeAndre Swift has been on fire the last couple of games. 232 rushing yards and a touchdown the last 2 games. He has 419 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. I mean, listen, the Ravens have had some success against him in the past, but DeAndre Swift hitting his stride. Grace, going to need some anti-heroes on the Ravens defense.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big game for the defense. It should be a big game for the defense as well. And especially, we talk a lot, even the first 6 weeks, about the lack of pass rush and creating those turnovers. I mean, I think another key to our game, I don't know if we're going to get to it here, but, like, you got to make that guy uncomfortable. You got to make Caleb Williams uncomfortable, because he's looked pretty comfortable the past couple of weeks when they put on this little winning streak. And if he can come in against this Ravens defense and kind of have his way, I think that's going to be really concerning.
Yeah, Kyle, the defense has to shake off these past performances and kind of stick to what they were doing against the Rams, right?
Yeah, and I mean, continue the trends. I mean, a pretty decent performance defensively against the Rams. I mean, getting a turnover finally for the first time in a few weeks was nice. And I think it's going to be turnovers because Caleb Williams does make mistakes. He is going to, throw balls that can get intercepted. And then, shut down the run first. It's going to be a huge week for guys like John Jenkins, Travis Jones, Roderick Washington to actually prove that they're not just an open sieve right now, which they've been for several weeks.
Maybe a little bit of bad blood between Roquan and his old team in Chicago. You guys were in the locker room today. No storyline?
I said
He was trying to play that down so much. He's like, I loved my time in Chicago. Have great memories in Chicago, family in Chicago. It'll be great. So he's maybe saving it for the game, I think.
All right, I just want to say before we move on, I'm disappointed. No reference, or no one acknowledged my Taylor Swift references here. Bad blood, shake it off, anti-hero, whatever. We'll move on. Question of the week. Listen, it's a big one because we're coming off the bye. We want to hear from you as we move on here. Which Ravens player or coach is under the most pressure after the bye week, and why? You can reach out to us on WJZ's social media channels. Our best responses will be featured this Sunday on Purple Pregame. So, Grace, I'll throw it out to you quick.
I will say it's got to be Zach Gore, just because of the way that defense, and with getting guys back and healthy, I think this is going to be big. Also, I was listening to Sports Talk Radio this morning, and some guy made a point, and a caller, and he said, you know what, if you're a coordinator at the NFL, you shouldn't need a mentor at this level, and I know that's kind of been the storyline of him, so I think there's a lot of pressure on him. Yeah,
I actually go the other way and go Ravens receivers. Derrick Henry proved that he can get it done. I just haven't seen what I want to see out of Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Those guys have to carry some weight. I know it matters who throws them the football, but on some level, those guys got to lift you up a little more than they have.
I think it's Lamar Jackson. I think that the weight of the city, the weight of the season is on his shoulders. Everyone's banking on him. How can he not be the guy that's feeling the most pressure? Not to say it's going to rattle him or affect him at all, but the season is going to go how Lamar goes. So it is up to him. So I think that he's going to be under the most pressure. But we want to hear from you guys, so reach out to us on social media and let us hear it. All right, that's going to do it for this week's Purple Connection. For Kyle Goon of the Baltimore Banner and Grace Grill, I'm Alex Glaze. We do this show every Monday during the season. We will be back next Monday. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.